deal fell through. Hard to believe.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirrin Dirt Racing, hosts of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirrindirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLakes1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York. And now your host, Chris Marquardt.
No, Brian. The flashing red lights are not a sign or an omen or anything like that.
Right,
no,
we're good.
Everything's fine. If only we could have the folks that watch at home listen to the opening few moments of the show that happens here. And if only I could remember what order to click those buttons in. Good God. Episode number 220 on deck should be a good one. We're going to be talking with Troy Bohannan about the everybody knows about this car now. I can't wait to hear it. You know about it, right? No. The car that everybody's been talking about online. Troy Bohannan is bringing a twin-turbo LS powered Crown Vic to... See? You knew about it.
I did. Turns
out you already knew about it. But, yeah, which is going to be... I mean, I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to be cool.
I didn't really. I just kind of looked at the picture and I was like, and I didn't read down through all the posts, but I was like, that's, I mean, it's Mark Wolf did the blower, so I guess turbocharge is the next in line. I mean, definitely cool. I mean, it's
gonna sound awesome.
I don't know how it's gonna work when stuff starts getting bent and torn up and leaking, but it'll be interesting.
Well, I mean, it's not. Hey, Troy, it's Chris. Let me put you in. We've got... Thankfully, you didn't just hang up on him.
By what you mean you?
Yeah, this is... There he is. Troy, can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir. Can you hear us? Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you fine, Troy. So, Troy's bringing a twin-turbocharged LS, which is... set the internet abuzz about Capital City Carnage. Did you think that you were going to get the response that you've gotten off of that little walk around from that you posted on Facebook? And more importantly, how does that thing sound?
Well, I'll tell you, this is a God's honest truth. That was my very first ever post to Facebook. So, not being a Facebook guy, I totally did not expect to have anything like what I've had. Obviously, we've had... I think there's around 250,000 views, and my phone just really took off blowing up after we posted it. And no, I didn't expect anything like that. The engine sound, it's going to be something different. We
yes.
like running this class just for the fact that this is the one derby we run each year that, which I mean we did it last year. I act like I've done it forever, but. It's just strictly for fun, you know what I mean? This class, you really can't take it serious, or we can't. It's just fun. So it's a good class to try new things, and that's what we're doing, something new. It may be an epic fail, or it may be totally awesome. We don't know.
Troy, what do you have for gears in the car?
Actually, it's just 488 gears. It's a post and low par rear end. We've got a Narrat slider. So it's pretty decent equipment. It's a very limited build. It couldn't have a transmission protector or anything like that.
Automatic tranny or standard?
No, I always run a 3-speed, so it'll be a standard transmission. So it's geared pretty low, but to compensate for that, we've got third gear. So
do you have a rev limiter in it, or is she just going to scream?
Do what?
Do you have a chip in it for like a rev limiter, or you just let it scream?
Yeah. It's fuel injected, so it's all computerized. We've been playing with the programming. Actually, I've got another appointment tomorrow morning to get back on the chassis dyno and do some final tuning. And this is the first fuel injected engine I've ever ran, and I'll tell you, there's a lot that can go wrong with it. It's not as simple as my normal modified setup would be, but I tell you, there is so much you can do with that fuel injection. As far as programming, you can change it for change your air fuel ratio for different temperatures and change your timing curve and this, that, and the other. And so there's a lot to it, and it's really we've got high expectations for it. I really think we didn't just throw it together. It's been well thought out. We've had some help from some very serious people that, I don't expect it to fail, but, it is, we're trying something new, so you never know. But, it's mean. Right now we're running a 7,500 RPM rev limiter. And if you got it in neutral, it'll hit that at less than a quarter throttle.
That's awesome.
So I got a couple questions. First, what fuel are you going to run through that?
This year we're running E85.
Okay.
We doing the turbos obviously build some heat. We're not running a whole bunch of boost this time, but not running an intercooler. You got to be careful with that. So we're running E85 so that we can keep the temperatures down. We're actually we considered, and it be phase 2 if this thing does work out. Running methane would be ideal probably, but I have a little concerns on fuel consumption with methane. But this year we'll be running E85 through it. So
right. So help me understand something here, because if you've got the twin turbo like that and you've got the chip in it, how does all of that come together for a powerful package and getting your torque numbers up without hitting the limiter right away? Because if you're hitting the limiter at a quarter throttle, aren't you already past where the turbo needs to kick in?
Well, actually, there's a lot of people are, worried about turbo lag and this, that, and the other. But having twin turbos, we've got small enough turbines that they spool very quickly. Mm-hmm. Not only that, but when we chose a cam, I had a guy from Brian Tooley Racing help us, kind of design this, and we chose a cam that also makes a big difference on spooling quickly. So really, we don't have the turbo lag that everybody thinks we're going to have. It's there quick, and when it hits boost, it's just insane. Really, is the only way I can describe it. It's really ridiculous, and hitting the rev limiter is one thing in neutral. You get it under a load,
that's what I was going to say.
We can get wide open throttle. That's not a problem. So,
well, just the hitting the limiter so fast, it almost seems like once you're on the limiter,
because once it's under the load, it's because when it's in neutral, it's just free revving. There's no load on the motor.
Sure.
So when it's in gear, it's got to turn everything all the way back to the tires. So it's going to be under the load
and push whatever's in front of it.
Yeah, push. Plus, I'm sure they probably want for a cam that it probably is, it probably starts digging early. And then takes it right up through. So
that's what you're saying.
Because
the turbo thing is very foreign to me. What little I know about motors, I can put in a thimble what I know about turbos.
Yeah. I'll tell you, it was new to us too. And I've got a good friend of mine that works for an oil company, and he goes out to all these automotive shows. He goes to the SEMA show every year, and was talking to him after SEMA, and just kind of, what did you see out there? Because I always thought it was cool. And he said, this year, everything I seen, he said the biggest theme out there was turbo this, turbo that. I said, I've been thinking about putting the turbos on a derby car for years, and just kind of went from there. And we talked about it in the garage. You get somebody's around drinking, put a turbo on one, and we kind of kicked it around for a while. And this year, I just kind of got serious and researched it, and finally figured out, I think we can make it work, and so we're going to try it. We'll see.
So why run the twins versus running all of your exhaust into one and then having one pipe coming out the center?
Well, it's kind of like having a 12-inch dick. You may not be able to use it all, but it's sure cool to say you got it.
That's the best analogy we've ever had on Crash Course. That was terrific.
When you put it that way.
We talked about that, actually. Our first original design, honestly, was a single turbo on the roof of the car, and we were going to run all our plumbing up to the roof, and it was just getting goofy. And once we got to researching it and digging into it a little bit, the twins just felt like the better way to go. It was easier to keep it all clean and in the hood, and you do quite a bit lessen your turbo lag when you have twins. So.
Sure.
Now, what would these turbochargers be found on? Like, I assume that you guys, with the way it sounds, you didn't do anything half-assed. So I assume they're brand new turbochargers. Like what type of machine would they be on that you're using?
That's a good question. I'm not really sure. There are aftermarket turbos. I had a guy in Texas that does a lot of turbo cars, help me kind of figure out what we needed, and he put together a little package for us. So we got the turbos and wastegates and all that from him. I kind of told him what I was doing, and after he got over the shock of thinking about turbos in a derby car, he kind of helped me get it all figured out. So I'm not sure. I mean, they're not like, we didn't go to the O'Reilly's and order turbos for a certain vehicle. They are just aftermarket turbos, and it's your basic T6 flange turbos. I think they're 55 millimeters, something like that.
Okay, so the struggles that everybody has when they go to the local parts store, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Can you imagine going in and saying, I want a turbo off of a Nissan, blah 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 blah, and then they say, what's it going on? And you're like, it's going in a Crown Vic. I'm like, well, what's it going on? It's going on a GMLS.
Yeah, no kidding.
The poor person's head would explode.
Yeah. The question is, like, I assume you probably drove the car around outside. Can you pull the front tires off the ground, or does it just break the rear tires loose?
We laughed about that. I think if we didn't have an engine cradle and some, if it wasn't a derby car, we might be able to pull the front end off the ground. I'm not sure. It's got a lot of torque, a lot of power. It's fun. It sounds unique. You'll hear us, that's for sure. So.
Yes, that's not a question. We will.
Now, which
run time in and hope to run it just wide open. I just hope we can get some good full track shots. There's going to be a lot of cars on the track, so it gets cluttered, but hopefully we can put on a show. So
everybody that's been in Demolition Derby sort of has a game plan for if something does go wrong. Everybody that's been in the car with a little bit of seat experience knows, well, okay, well, if I lose my steering, I've got to do this, blah, 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 blah. With twin turbos, what happens to the motor if one of the turbos goes and the other's still intact?
Well, I guess we'll find out. I'm not sure. This motor's actually pretty mean engine without turbos.
Right.
But, of course, if you lose one, I still think we'll be able to get around.
If it works out, I think that's what you should do for next year.
You're fully into the intake along those lines, and you're clearly smarter than I ever thought about being, because in my mind I'm like, I wonder how long it's going to be before they put turbo protectors on and completely brace the fenders out and everything like that. But that sounds like that's already in the works.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, I think we would, if we did that in a modified, I think our headers would be shaped a little differently, and the turbos would be in a spot that really would benefit us with protectors. But this class, you can't run a full cradle. We're running the exact same cradle we ran last year. It's a lower cradle. We do have a front plate, but there's no mid plate, no DP, nothing like that. So really the rules are very, very light on this build. So it won't take long for us to bail it out if we're able to get those long track shots like we're hoping for.
That's what I love to hear. The plan is to junk stuff. And they're definitely going to have the machinery to do it. So I encourage it. I think you should aim for 7,500 in all three gears and just wait. If you're going to aim, you might as well aim big.
I'm going to tell you right now, third gear is scary as hell in that thing. I don't foresee us hitting third gear, but if we do, look out.
That's awesome. That's great.
I can't wait. It's going to be really so cool.
If the track is like it's been the last couple times we've been there, it's been asphalt basically. Mm-hmm. We've heard tires squealing. We've seen the burnt rubber on the track. So the track should be, if it's like that, it should be perfect. So hopefully
we're banking on it. We're banking on it being like that. Seems like the last couple of years they've really had it down where they've packed it in tight and got it solid. So.
Yeah, I can't wait to see it.
What does this do to your tire selection? You gotta go out there cognizant that you don't want the sidewalls to be soft, but at the same time you need something that's going to be able to hook up. If you run too hard of a tire, you're not going to be able to get any grip on that surface. You're just going to blow the tires off it.
Yeah, I think we're going to be okay as long as the track is solid. Our rear end's obviously very heavy. Our wheels and tires are very heavy. I think we'll be fine on traction, and that's one thing about it. Your boost doesn't kick in until you're a little bit higher up in the RPM, so you've got momentum before you hit that power band.
Yeah,
and I really don't foresee traction being a huge issue for us. It may be a blessing if we do break the tires loose, but it's going to be loud, and we're going to run it wide open.
Do you run the Dirt D500 then? Is that what you go with?
No, I'd go with I'd go with whatever the mid tire is.
The
D200. Yeah, you want it to grip. I'd go with like a 300 or whatever it was.
Diameter ratings for dirt modified. It's nothing to do with derby cars, but
yeah, this is definitely awesome.
I know.
I can't wait to. I mean, even though it's an LS and not a Magnum, I'm still pretty excited to hear it run.
because that's the thing you need to judge. I mean, come on.
Still pretty excited to hear it run.
It's going to be like nothing we've ever seen before. I can't think of anything really close to this other than that year that we went down and Mark Wolf had that 71, 72 Cadillac with a blower. Yeah. And he sucked a bunch of stuff into that, but it didn't affect it.
Steering wheel side has a little less visibility, but he'll be fine. He's ran a lot of derbies with the front end nosed up where you couldn't see much, so I'm not worried about it. We'll get around just fine.
Actually, hitting on that right there, that topic that you just hit on, where does this build fit in terms of what you guys do at home? I mean, a lot of different places have a lot of different builds.
You know, our normal build, we build modifieds, not real heavy modifieds. We run GSA shows, and we run several of their shows every year. We like them as a promoter, but more than that, it's geographically they kind of fit us. You know, this is quite a trip for us to get over to Topeka, and there's really no big shows close to us. So this is a lot lighter build than what we're used to, and that's why I built this new car last year, separate from my normal build because I didn't want to start hacking apart my engine cradle and tranny braces and all that kind of stuff. So this is a lot lighter build, but then again, you get used to driving a modified and running it hard. It's hard to back off when you step into these lighter build classes. So, but again, this 2-man class, it's for us strictly fun. We're not going out there trying to win. We're showing up to have a good time, and everybody knows it's a lot more fun when you run wide open. So
the Mad Dog Award out there is event wide, right? It's whoever.
I understood it as it was. I'm not sure. I've had some mixed responses on that. I thought it was event wide.
I did too.
You know what? This show here, man, Mad Dog will be tough to get. I mean, you've got some drivers all through all the classes. In that big class, those guys are going to be out there for a long time. So, somebody winning the Mad Dog out of the 2-man extreme is going to be pretty difficult to do. Definitely we're going for it. We're going to run wide open anyway. Go for that Mad Dog.
I like that plan.
That's going to be a challenge. But
now you you're the passenger, you must have some pretty big old shit handles to hold on to, right? 'Cause, I mean, you're going to be going forward with a lot of speeds. I mean, you must have some pretty big handles somewhere to hold on to.
Yeah, it's the same car I ran last year, and I was a passenger last year too. I've got a no shit handle. I've got a little bar, in front of me off the dash, and I'll be skiing. I've got a shifter on my left and a shifter on my right, so I'll be busy.
Crazy.
Huh. I don't even know where to go with that. It's going to be busy inside that cockpit. It's gonna.
Yeah.
Go ahead with your follow-up.
It's going to be something else. And last year, a different friend of mine ran with me, and he did a great job. He ran the steering wheel, and I ran the gas, and we tried something new last year for us. We'd never ran an LS before, and last year I ran an LS. It was just a carbureted LS, and we ran it hard, and we ended up melting the heads.
Awesome.
Actually melted holes in both heads all the way you could stick your finger in and touch them. But we learned a little bit from that, changed some things this year, and obviously made some big changes in the engine. But it's going to be exciting.
That's the issue with the newer motors, like the newer high performance motors, like the LSs. I've heard you can have head problems with them. You can crack them, and it's the same thing with the Magnums. You get them too hot, and they'll
are they
crack
cast?
heads.
Are they cast aluminum or are they cast steel?
The Mopars are steel. I'm not sure about
these LSs are aluminum, and that's the problem you get. You got to run ARP head studs and run the right gaskets and do all that kind of stuff. But there's ways you can slow it down. But I do believe those aluminum heads are probably a weak point once you start getting to the melting point of it.
But you really got to run hard for a long time to melt stuff. That's impressive. That's a feat right there. That's pretty awesome.
Real quick, and I want to make sure I heard what you said right. You said there's a shifter on both sides of you?
Yeah, I've got first and reverse on my left and second and third on my right. So cable shifters.
Okay.
So just we started to put them all on one, but I don't know. I used to back in the run a 3-speed manual with an actual shifter on it. We'd cut a hole in the floor and have an actual shifter on it. Mm-hmm. But I had problems with that and went to these cable shifters just with first and reverse, and with this car we added second and third because I think we'll be in second gear a lot. I can take off in second and get around really good in second gear, so I think that's probably going to be our primary running gear.
Makes sense.
We got third for shit gets real.
So you've got to make sure that you keep your feet busy with the clutch, brake, and throttle, and you've got 2 different shifters to work with.
No brake, just clutch and throttle. That's all you need.
I'm sure the pedal's there for sure.
The brake is for getting it on and off the trailer, maybe pulling up onto the lift on inspection. And once we're on the track, you can forget about that pedal. We don't even need it.
That's what I like to hear. Awesome. I like to hear that. That's great.
I'm excited. That's going to be running as part of the 10 o'clock program. That's in the first leg of Saturday, which we're only a couple days away from that. We wish you. Who else do you want to make mention of? I mean, we talked about the guys in Texas, and you've got appointments, and you've got dyno information to pair everything together. You got a whole bunch of people that are helping make this thing possible. Is there anybody that you wanted to make mention of that we missed?
Yeah. There is my buddy TJ Falkenberry. He's helped me a lot. He's riding with me this year. We always build our cars together, and that guy, he'll come out to my shop and spend hours and hours helping work on stuff, and he's very integral. My stepdad Randy McClure, he's also out there spending hours, and it's kind of a family affair. We have fun working on them, but we spend a lot of hours and a lot of time working on them. So I want to thank them. And real quick, before I let you guys go, I want to thank you guys for doing what you do to promote our sport. I know it takes a lot of effort, but you guys have sure done a lot for our sport. And anybody that does what you guys do, that type of work, helps us as drivers, have a place to go. So it's awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. That's very kind. We appreciate that a lot. What day are you getting into Topeka?
I think we're just going to head out Friday morning. It's about a 3-hour drive for us, so we'll just get up early Friday morning and head in.
Perfect. Well, we will definitely be looking for you. And
we'll hear it before we see it.
I anticipate we'll hear it before we see it. Yes. Yeah. Sure enough. Well, Troy, I appreciate you coming on the show. We wish you the absolute best of luck. And if your good luck comes at Josh's expense, we put our seal of approval on it.
Right on. Well, you guys have a safe trip down, and we'll see you when we get there.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot, man.
All right, thank you.
Good luck.
Thank you.
There goes Troy Bohannan, man. That is the best line we've ever had on the show.
Yeah, that's definitely this program definitely isn't going on the local access 12.
No.
No. Yeah, this one ain't going on.
I guess we've eliminated our worry and concern over that in full.
So completely off topic. Did you see the Cadillac wagon that Tim Clark picked up?
No. I got it. We never actually officially started the show. There's a couple things we had to hit on, and I deleted them anyway. Clark Velsky and David Leggett celebrating birthdays today, and we saw a handful of people that it's been a rash of unfortunate passings and illnesses and stuff, and I don't even know where to begin on the list. A lot of our friends are hurting right now, so we're thinking about all those folks. We're flying out to go to Topeka. We'll get into town to meet up with Chris Grainer and do a dry run through. The heat draws are going to be airing on DerbyNation.tv. You can still get into the Fantasy League up until I think it's up until Friday around noon. So make sure you jump online and do that. It's the same site as always. The links are on there, so you can jump and grab hold of that. We're going to share those more through the course of the week, and of course, DerbyNation.tv. There is a package available where you can get all of the action Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night for $15 a session. It's $45 for rounds, $15 to see Capital City Carnage. Hard to argue.
Yeah,
hard to beat that.
That's a pretty good deal.
And a minor housekeeping thing. This is episode number 220. it's kind of a unique episode in that we are now within 17 episodes of being the #1 most aired show on Finger Lakes 1. So we have 17 episodes, and we're gaining on 31st lap about 2-1. So basically in 29 episodes, figure 29 weeks from where we are right now will put us, sometime around 4 weeks, 7 months for March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, sometime leading up to Chaos in the Valley or Blizzard Bash. We should theoretically take over the #1 spot on Finger Lakes 1 with the most studio-based episodes of anything that is aired on Finger Lakes 1, which is kind of cool. And that'll also come on the heels of what I think should be the celebration of the 5th anniversary. Or is it the 6th? Is it the 6th?
5th or 6th? I don't remember.
It doesn't matter. It's just a number. You're only as old as you feel, right?
Yeah. How old do you feel?
Ancient. I feel way older than I used to.
So, yeah, back to Tim Clark found a Cadillac station wagon in Florida. He sent me a text. He said, "Hey, did you see the car I bought?" And I said, "No." He said, "Check it out on Facebook." And there was a Cadillac station wagon sitting on his trailer. So, yeah, that's pretty close to a unicorn right there.
There was a handful of them that were out there, I guess, that were limited, exceptionally limited productions. And there's other people that'll come out there and say that it was redone, that they took a regular wagon and put a they took a regular wagon and just put the Cadillac front nose on it. So argue it as you will. Debate in the comments. You're welcome to debate in the comments. But now we got Tim on the line, so Tim can tell us his opinion. What do you think? Is a Cadillac wagon a real thing, or is that something that somebody put together in a shop?
It's a custom built car. It's not a factory built car down a factory line, but it is a round back wagon and a Cadillac mixed. So, and there's actually, mine's a 1970, and there's 1,500 of them made, and I have, I guess, one of them. So
does that have that's the year before the good frames that everybody wants out of the roundbacks, right?
Right. Well, yeah. No, the back half of this car is a roundback frame, and the front half is a Cadillac frame.
I got to commend you. I mean, you don't come across a lot of people that are willing to buy a Cadillac station wagon, but you don't come across any derby promoters that are willing to invest in a Cadillac station wagon for a raffle car. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that would be awesome, huh?
No.
I mean, a buddy of mine was wanting me to buy a roundback for a couple of years now, and I told him, I said, if I'm not a roundback kind of driver, I was like, if I'm going to buy a roundback, it's going to be a Cadillac. Then he found it on the internet, and we drove to Florida and bought it.
Do you remember Todd had one of these, or was looking at buying one of these that used to belong to someone? We were at Bash for Cash probably 4 years ago, and he's showing pictures of the white one with the red interior.
I don't.
You
that
don't?
Was a long time ago.
I don't remember much, but I remember that.
You remember a lot.
I do.
So, Tim, you ready to go? I mean, things all looking good and up. And
I'm excited. I mean, we're going to leave tomorrow about noon. We're going to get in Topeka probably around 9:30, 10 o'clock tomorrow night. So I think the show's going to be awesome, and it's packed. Awesome. I mean, I don't know if I could pick a winner, that's for sure, in any of the classes. Yeah,
it's definitely a lot of great drivers. Now, is it you, Russ, and Fatty in the Suburban all coming out together, or what?
Well, me and Russ is driving one truck, and a couple other guys is driving another truck. Then Fatty's picking up Toby on Wednesday, after work, and they're going to drive out on Wednesday.
Well, I just figured you'd need Fatty to keep you entertained on the ride out there, because he's good like that.
I couldn't handle that.
Awesome. Really looking forward to it. I mean, this last couple of weeks, I feel like the momentum has really picked up. I mean, I really think it helped with the twin turbo LS. I mean, a lot of people are looking forward to seeing that run. I mean, as a promoter, I mean, how do you feel? I mean, do you feel like the support is kind of starting to swell, and it's people are really getting excited about it?
It's grown really good. I mean, out there, it seems like everything's going on good, and now we got people building LS motors with turbos on them. The Derby world is, expanding, that's for sure.
Is it true that Russ is trying to get the mesh that they have up around the end of the hockey rink up to keep any pieces of that from flying to the crowd?
I don't know for sure. But I mean, I think the show's going to be great. I mean, it's like I said, the drivers in it. It's going to be one hell of a show. I don't think anybody will want to miss it. That's for sure.
No, we actually have some friends here from New York that are coming out, and I'm really excited for them to come out and see this is the first big show they've been to. So I'm really excited. I mean, every class has got great drivers in it. There isn't going to be a sleeper class. I mean, everything is going to be a great show. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a packed house, that's for sure. I mean, the heats is going to be packed. I mean, it's going to, we added that extra heat of the 2 million, so it's going to put a little more time to the Derby, but it was just so many people wanted in that class, we had to do something.
Tim, I think next year for the 2-man extreme, I think you and Russ should run a car together.
I don't think so.
I think all the drivers would be okay with it. You two in a Derby car together. I think that would be great.
I don't know about that.
By then, Russ will be a year removed. He'll be a year, better, and I think it would be great. It'd be a nice time for you guys both to come out of retirement.
We'd never get nothing done because Russ would scream at me the whole time. So I mean, so we could never move. We'd only sit there.
Now, Russ said he only yells at you when at his or your house when the garage door is down. That's the only time he yells at you.
We haven't done that for a couple of years. That was in the older days.
That's good.
I know for a fact that that's not true because usually Tim gets yelled at after he hangs up the phone with us every time he's on.
Well, I'm only in my house then. I mean, usually it's not in the garage. So
that's great. Looking forward to it. I mean, when you guys started Smash It, I mean, did you ever think that derbies would be almost year-round like they are now?
Not at all. I mean, when we started, we thought, I was thinking some county fairs, do some county fairs around here, and now look at it. I mean, you're getting into, every month it seems like there's a show paying $10,000 to win. I never thought that would ever be, back in the day, that's for sure.
That's the norm now.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of derbies that pay $10,000 to win. It's crazy.
There are more. Well, I'm not going to go far to say that. The general norm for top level demolition derbies pay more to win, not necessarily full purse, but they pay more to win than a Super Dirt Car Series modified feature.
Oh yeah,
on the norm, which is crazy.
Yeah,
put your head around that.
Yeah, modified's only $6,000 to win.
Only because we're saying only about $6,000 compared.
But I mean, if you look like a Tim, what do you guys pay at like a fair show? Like what's an average payout for like your top class winner?
It's from there. Just depends what fair we're at. It's from $1,000 to $2,000 to win. That's what it is around Ohio. It's about $2,000. So
you would say that the cheapest, or not the cheapest, I'm sorry, but the least you would pay to win for like the top class would be $1,000?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean that's the cheapest that we pay. I mean
that's more. The modifieds only get like $1,500 to win here, then like seconds like $750. I mean Demolition Derby is really, and I mean Tim and Russ have. I mean they pay down through. I mean that's they do a nice job taking care of all the drivers. Which
this show here pays
incredible.
$10,000, $9,000, $8,000, back through $1,000 for 10th place.
Yeah, that's crazy. And I've talked with Tim and Russ both about some different shows and some ideas they have, and I can't wait to see what the future brings because I think there's going to be some really happy drivers.
Oh, actually,
in the near future.
Tim, while we got you on the phone, just to clarify something we were talking with Troy, the Mad Dog Award is event wide or is it specific just to the limited?
Event wide, yeah. Any class can win that.
That's awesome.
It's not just for one class.
I seem to remember that last year, but Teddy Papadopoulos had it so on lock on the weekend. It didn't. Teddy Papadopoulos was the only guy that was going to win that, regardless of what class he was in. You could have gave him Illumina; he was going to win.
Yeah, because every heat he was in, he was junking stuff without a doubt.
Yeah, he's a hard driver, that's for sure. But now we got this LS coming up, so you never know.
Yeah, it's going to be wild.
It could be like a dozer pushing everything off the track.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. I can't wait.
Pushing everything off the track and into the 10th row.
Definitely excited. I can't wait. It's here, man. It's the season has really started.
You said the word excited a lot.
I am.
You're excited.
And then I saw today or yesterday, Bash for Cash is only like 57 days away or 54 days away or something like that.
Yeah, Tim, how's that make you feel?
Oh, that makes me feel great. I mean, actually, we even have a little a team show in April. So, we used to start out our Derby season with Bash for Cash, but now we started out with a Capital Carnage. Then we go into April and put a show on, and then we go to Bash for Cash. So it's going to be here before I know it. That's for sure.
How long before you get a Derby down in Florida or someplace cool like, I don't know, Costa Rica?
And that would be awesome. Florida, putting a Derby in Florida would be pretty good. You never know.
I like the sound of that.
Look at those open weeks between December 1st and January 30th.
That's what I say. Winter months around here is terrible. I'd rather move down there. I've been down there twice this year. I might as well go, for a while.
Yeah, but I also saw you going to Michigan to ride the snowmobile, so you're not completely against the cold weather.
Well, I'm not completely against the cold, but I like derbies a lot more than I like snowmobiles, so I can always leave that parked in the garage.
Now, are you bringing your son to work this weekend, or is he going to stay at college?
No, actually, he's on vacation right now, so he's at Myrtle Beach with all of his buddies for spring break.
Wow, what a lucky kid.
So
that's cool. Good for him.
Yeah, I asked him, I said, you want to go to Myrtle Beach? And he's like, well, my pick. And so.
That's awesome. That's great. So.
But, yeah, I think this show's coming along good. I think it's going to be a packed house. The tickets are selling pretty decent. So if everybody wants to get a ticket, they go to Ticketmaster there and get them. And I think it's going to be great.
I tell you what, there was huge improvement from the first on-track excitement from the first year to the second year. I can't wait to see what this year brings. Last year this was kind of a round back wagon fest. There was probably 10 or 12 wagons there.
That's what won.
That's what won was
first and third, I think.
Yeah, so you're going to see a lot. You see a lot of great cars out there. This is a lot of great. Even in the limited weld, which is kind of the premier class of the weekend. Those guys are pretty innovative for within the rules. So it's definitely a great show. Guys were driving hard all last year. So I can't wait, man. It's Thursday morning. Can't get here quick enough.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I think Saturday, and I'm excited for Saturday just to see who actually pulls it off, because, like I said, I don't even know if I could pick.
Now, the modified show, the modifieds are running Saturday morning as well, right, Tim?
Saturday. Yeah.
Awesome.
And at first we made that to go because we wasn't getting a lot of modifieds to sign up, so we did that. So, I don't know. I like to change it, but I hate to say something and then change it. So we already posted it that we was going to do it. So we'll probably just run the modifieds in the morning, and then both of the one class, the two-man in the evening. Just depends how it goes.
Okay. The modifieds, they put on a great show last year too. The Tice brothers were definitely driving hard last year. So I can't wait, man. I've been looking forward to this one, and can't wait to get out there and hang out and watch inspection and get ready to go.
Even with the modified guys, there's 20 of them now, and man, I think every one of them drivers on that list drive hard.
Oh yeah.
So, I think that heat will probably be the heat to see out of all the heats that run. I think the modified will. That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe last year they drove that. They drove the modified heat last year like it was a heat at Bash or Blizzard Bash. They said go, and man, those guys were just on the gas, wide open. So that was
all the modified guys out there. That's how they drive.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So just to back up to the schedule,
to the floor and reverse and forward. So they put a hell of a show on, that's for sure.
Yep.
Just to back up to the schedule again. So to be clear, we've got 5 consies, the modified feature, the compact feature, and the extreme two-man. The first extreme two-man features all part of it, or there's no two-man in the morning.
The two extremes he said would be with the other feature that night.
The two-man is one one and done. There's no feature on that.
But they each.
I thought there was 2 groups.
Yeah, there is.
There is.
But they're each one and done.
They're each one and done because
Yeah. Shoot, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, Tim, what would you as a promoter? Would you say that putting on like a big indoor show? I mean, is that comparable to putting on something like the Bash? I mean, or is the Bash just because there's so many more cars? Is there more to do as a promoter, or does it work out kind of the same?
Well, I truly believe Blizzard Bash is probably the hardest show to put on, with everything going on at once on indoors and trying to get everything lined up to keep moving. I think that's probably the hardest show to do, but indoors is a little harder than an outdoor show because you got to worry about smoke, you got to worry about, the dirt and everything like that. So it's a little more stressful. You guys would be the one to ask, so I just figured. But yeah, I can't wait, man. We're getting down to counting days now, so we will be there soon.
Sure will. So thanks for the clarification on the schedule. I had missed the.
Well, they changed it up a little bit, and then so definitely gonna be a good time.
Good deal. Anything that we gotta know about going in?
No, not really.
No.
Okay.
Anything that when we see you in person and we start pressing you on stuff, Russ will take you away?
I can see everything. I can see this show grow, and I can see Blizzard Bash even growing even bigger than what it is, and it'll make everybody happy in the long run.
Now, what I want to know is when are we going to see the combines? That's what I want. Combines.
There ain't going to be no combines.
Thank you.
You're more fun after 4 or 5 rounds at a New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, I know, but.
All right, buddy. We will see you Thursday.
All right, we'll see you.
Have a good one. Thanks, Tim.
All right, bye.
Tim Clark. Enough about the combines. Jesus.
Tell me it would be cool to see a combine derby once in person.
I've seen video.
It's more cool in person.
It would. I find that just about impossible to believe. Capital City Carnage, we were talking about. Heat draws are scheduled for this Thursday, 7 to 10 o'clock, airing on DerbyNation.tv. March the 16th, 7 o'clock. That's the first round of heats. Heats 1 through 10. Top 2 are going to advance. That's going to give us our first 20 cars into that Limited World main event. On March the 17th, Twin Bill, starting at 10 a.m. Limited World Constellations. The top 2 advance out of those, finishing out our 30-car feature for the Limited World class. The modified feature and the compact feature both scheduled at 10 o'clock, $2,500 to win in each of those. 7 o'clock is the main round, the two-man extreme classes, each paying $2,500 to win, and the Limited World Finals, paying $10,000 to win and dropping by $1,000 back through 10th place, so 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1,000. And $5,000 to win Mad Dog Awards sitting out there as well. Again, for additional details, a full agenda, driver's list, etc., online, capitalcitycarnage.com. After we do that, then this was the one that sort of slipped in on us a little bit. We're going to be going to the Shenandoah Valley to help kick off Chaos in the Valley season, taking over everything that's going on down there in the crook of the Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah Valley, Woodstock, Virginia. The spring date for Chaos in the Valley is April the 21st. We're going to be down there doing that. Showtime's 5 o'clock. Weld, stock, and compact classes all planned for the day in Woodstock, paying $2,000 to win. The fall date for Chaos in the Valley with Jason and Penny Shipe is October the 20th. Shenandoah County Fairgrounds, Woodstock, Virginia. Showtime, again, 5 o'clock. Monster builds, monster payouts. It is insane, the builds of what they do down there. And you want to talk about fabricators? They fabricate everything, like the frames, the flat stacks, front axles. It's amazing down there. Jump online, facebook.com/Chaos Valley for more details. All those events held to benefit Tom's Brook Volunteer Fire Department.
Did Sean run down there last year, Golden
Hour? Not the trailer, but sort of his thing. Cool. He'll run it eventually, and God save the Queen when he does. We're going to be talking with Johnny Gullo next. We're talking about May Mania, the two-man team show. It's full. If you want to watch it, you're going to be sitting in the grandstands at that awesome Days of 47 Park down there in Salt Lake City. That is the home of the Utah State Fair at Salt Lake City Park. 18th and 19th, two-man team show. Outstanding show front to back. And it's going to be the same format as the Wasatch Wipeout. 2-day show with all the grudges and everything being held leading up to the main event with some repair time the following day. Really took a lot of the pressure off the guys. The guys sort of enjoyed that, so they're going to be following that. On the topic of the Wasatch Wipeout, that's back on the schedule for Stirrin Dirt Racing, July 27th and 28th in Heber City, Utah. That's a tiny little show that has $90,000 in prize money, $25,000 to win. Fifth through last get $1,000. There's a $5,000 Mad Dog Award also sitting out there. Farm trucks, front wheel drives, and passengers all paying $4,500 in payout for each of those three classes, not combined, $4,500 each in payout for those. Again, StirrinDirtRacing.com. We'll talk more about that stuff with Johnny Gullo when we get him on the line momentarily. The Ross County Fairgrounds is the home of the 2018 Basher Cash. We're going back to Chillicothe, May 26th through the 28th. And here at Big Rock, $11,000 kicker class has new and old iron, no Imperials, but new and old iron allowed. Old iron bonus, extra $3,000 to win, so that makes it $14,000 to win if you win it in an old iron. And you get an extra $1,500 if a metric car wins it. You get an extra $1,500 from being the top placing old iron, so that extra $1,500 is just the same as winning a feature pretty much any place out here, so that's not too bad of a bonus out there. And they flipped that bonus program around for the Turn Back the Clock class, where the Imperials are allowed to run. It's derbytees.com is the sponsor on that one. The metric bonus, $3,000 if a metric car can win that class, or it's $1,500 extra to your winnings if you're in a metric car and it's won by an old iron. The $10,000 to win DEC Headers Compact class is still out there. And then you've got the whole laundry list of other events. You name it, it's out there for you. Frank the Tank, old school wire class, the full-size trucks, youth compacts, youth compact, the compact trucks, all those still have openings. It's only $75. 80s wire class, and those street stocks are full. Jump online if you want more information on that one, www.smashitderby.com. From there, we're going to come home, and we're going to head to some of our home stomping grounds. You remember going to the Broome County Fairgrounds many, many years ago?
I do.
It's one of our first dates with my wife, Melissa. I was going with your not nearly as bald head, and got to
that was one of our first dates.
It kind of was. Yeah, it was a special day for everybody. We all enjoyed it. Made some great memories. It got kind of weird there. June the 2nd is the date. Road Rage Entertainment finally gets their crack at overseeing the show. They're going to be at the Broome County Fairgrounds in Whitney Point. The Team Derby, compact teams are sold out. Truck team, unofficially, there's one spot left. It's been claimed, but he hasn't got the money in. So officially, unofficially, whichever way you want to look at it. Full-size V8s, there are a couple spots available left in that. All of the one-and-dones are full. They still have spots available. One and dones for full size V8 junk run and compacts. It's $1,000 to win guaranteed in each of those one and dones. Again, there's still spots available in the one and dones. RC Derby with JMW Motorsports, Power Wheels, the kids' own play area. If the kids get bored and they want to take off, you can take them over there. There's some already teachers that have volunteered to help keep eyes on the kids,
Very cool.
Keep them busy. I think that's an awesome idea. Kids, they get their own bike helmets. There's like 50 bike helmets that have already been ordered, and that's more awesome if they need them for the Power Wheels guys. So that's pretty cool. Online, facebook.com/Road Rage Enter. You can also jump online and type in roadrageentertainment.com. It'll take you to the Road Rage Entertainment store where you can buy your entries. You can get the free entry for the Power Wheels all the way up through all the one and done classes as well. And rounding out our break here.
Nope, we're already there.
Yep. Still not it. Where'd it go? That's the one.
Nope, it's still not. There you go.
Yes, it is. I had to catch up. Spinning Wheels Productions is going to be the next one that we go to before we start. At that point, we're into our county fair season. June 16th at Sega County Fairgrounds in Morris, New York. The Jeffy's Fab Farm Mini Meltdown. 4,000 win compacts, 4,000, 2,000, 1,000. $1,000 Mad Dog. Basically, when you figure everything else that's being paid, $10,000 purse, which is pretty good for a headline show for compacts. One and done classes are 500 win plus 75% of the entries. Economy V8, limited weld V8, full size trucks, compact trucks. It's all overseen by Spinning Wheels Productions, who bring you annually that awesome year-end fundraiser for San Filippo, the San Filippo Smash. Spinning Wheels online, spinningwheelsproductions.com. Jump online, you can find out more. Also, news coming out in the last week about their team show in Honesdale. They got 2 events down there for that. And also, they're going to be overseeing the Otsego County Fair. I looked at the Otsego County Fair website with 2018 dates, and it's labeled Spinning Wheels Productions, LLC, Demolition Derby. So all of that stuff.
Otsego's Morris, correct?
Otsego, yeah. Otsego, yep.
Cool.
Yep. Otsego County Fairgrounds. So that's coming up here
quickly.
Yeah, it will be quick, won't it? It'll be
Before
here.
you know, we're going to talk about Blizzard Bash.
Yeah, it does seem to be the case, doesn't it?
Definitely isn't slowing down any.
Nah, it's fine.
April.
We're used to it.
We don't have any trips in April. Can you do well?
I just said we're going to Woodstock, Virginia.
That weekend.
You're welcome to go with me on that one. I'm sure you'll probably just sit back and kick your feet up because I've done it on my own before. It's not that hard, right?
Yeah. I would like to go, except I'm pretty sure I have to work that weekend.
I have to work that weekend. What weekend is it?
April. No, because I was looking at my mom's birthday because we want to have a 75th birthday party for her.
She doing well?
Yes, and her birthday is April 14th, which is the week before, and I'm off that weekend, so I will have to work the next weekend.
Perfect.
Sorry.
Hey, Johnny, I'll put you in.
But if I win the lottery tonight, then I'll go.
Yeah. If you win the lottery tonight, don't quit your job. Don't do that. That's one of the biggest pitfalls that lottery winners fall into.
It's like $350 million. Just put $1 million in the bank and forget about it.
You will blow through that in days.
No.
Anyway, more serious topics afoot with May Mania looming out there. We sort of hinted about April, and we're going to blow through April like it's nothing, and we're going to be into May. In what's going to feel like a matter of minutes, as we have May Mania sitting out there, May 19th and 20th. Johnny Gullo on the line. Johnny, how are you?
Hey, we're doing great. Getting ready for another snowstorm. I think it's February or March, isn't it?
Yeah. We can keep that snow out there. We're good.
In the last 3 weeks, I think, than we did all November, December, and January. So it's been crazy.
But what's that doing for the lake? This isn't a bad thing.
No, it's keeping the lakes full, so that's a good thing. But the guys that all bought their brand new sleds in November actually got a chance to drive them because they're getting kind of pissed off. But
we've the East Coast has had 3 nor'easters in 10 days.
I know, it's been crazy. Thank God I'm out here.
Yeah, I'm sure you're missing the lake effect.
Yes, very much so.
So all the snowmobiles are going to be put away here soon, and you're going to be getting loaded up for May Mania. The entry list is stacked. The 604 Syndicate looking to come back and defend their win. Arthur Suckett and Randy Mikowski. Where are things at right now?
We are completely full. Way excited. I've only had one team drop out, and I don't know if you got the update. Garrett Powell and Jake Brown from Montana took the next spot, so we're still at 30 teams and 4 teams on standby in case something happens. But I mean, this is uglier than last year. I mean, there's some serious teams coming.
It's a nice problem to have. There's some vicious drivers that are going to be making their trip, and you sort of have to, given the atmosphere that May Mania has built up to this point, and now you're moving May Mania into that gigantic facility in Salt Lake City. It's a whole new atmosphere for those guys to come and get to perform in front of potentially 10,000 fans.
We're definitely trying that. We've already started selling tickets, and they're selling pretty good right now. And we still got 3 months to go, so we're excited about that aspect of it. And the really nice thing about this arena, it's 5 minutes from the airport. So if anyone wants to fly in, I'll be posting the hotel deals that we've got worked out for anybody that wants to fly in and check us out and see what's going on. And great locale, easy to get to.
Mm-hmm. If you've never been to Utah and you're a Derby fan, you have to go at least once just to see what it looks like when you're standing in the parking lot and you can look around and it's 100 degrees on the ground and you can see snow-capped mountains all the way around. And, it's unbelievable. And then you go out there and it's every bit of what the billing is in terms of the intensity of the driver style. You know, there's people that volunteer to break their own forearms for hits across the arena.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, that was the first time I went out. You know, that was what really grabbed me, was the fact, you know, standing on a Derby track and, you know, in the background was, you know, a snow-capped mountain. I mean, it's such a beautiful, beautiful state to go to.
You literally go from the arena, which where our valleys are about 4,000 feet, you know, above sea level, and within 15 minutes you can be at 12,000 feet.
Yeah, that's insane.
It's
we did
nuts.
that. in the side-by-side. It was awesome. We almost hit a deer in the side-by-side.
And I mean, and you mentioned, I mean, the state itself is so beautiful, and the on-track action is just, it's very intense. It's a great, dichotomy there, and it's so cool. I mean, it's definitely an ultimate destination for Derby fans. I mean, if you're gonna go, this would definitely be,
it's a great one to pick.
Yeah,
it's a great one to pick. I mean, being in the middle of May.
And I don't want to take away from this show, but I've had so many guys from back east just calling to ask, and they couldn't get into this one, and they're coming to May Mania or the Wasatch Wipeout this year.
Sure,
cool.
And we officially filled 60 spots as of yesterday, so that one is full, and standby list is now being created.
That's awesome.
But that is.
What do you do with the standby guys for May Mania or for Wasatch? Do you tell them to come anyway, and in the event they don't get called into duty, do they get a heat of their own? Do they have the option of saving their car? Do they have a deferred entry someplace else?
We offer them, first we give them up to, usually if we give them a notice, I constantly send messages out to the current driver or the current list and say, do you have a problem? Do you need a partner? Or are you going to make something happen? Because we are some time away. But as of about, say we're March, probably April 1st would be the last call, because the guys just won't build. Even though it's an easier build, that gives them a month and a half, and they usually don't want to do that. So at that point, they always had that option in the beginning before Wasatch filled out, but we'll give them the option to come to any of the other shows. What I do is say, register, don't pay your entrance fee. That way you're not sitting out any money, and then if you do get in, I'll call you up, say, send your money in now if you still want it. And that's what happened to like Garrett and Jake from Montana. So, cool. But then I've got Troy Tag and who is it? He just got a new partner. Troy Tag and where is he? Actually, I don't even have the name of his partner, because it was going to be Cody, and he couldn't make it due to personal stuff. He's the next one on the list, and he says, I'm bringing 2 cars because I know someone's not going to show up. Okay.
Nice.
Do you ever have somebody that registers for the Wasatch Wipeout and then signs up as an alternate? That way they have some incentive to get their cars done, and if they need them, they're ready to go for May Mania, but if they don't, then their cars for Wasatch are complete?
One more time.
Do you ever? Well, it's a lot of forethought for Demolition Derby guys, so I'm assuming that it's a no. But do you ever have people that sign up as an alternate for May Mania and also register for the Wasatch Wipeout, so that there's some incentive to get the car done?
Oh yeah, absolutely. They've because it's the same build for both, and I had a couple do that, and they're already in May Mania, and those are the guys like farther down on my waiting list. They're building their cars anyways, and they've already put in for the other. Now what had happened is they'll make a choice. They'll either do both shows, or they will say, I'm in the May, we're going to come to that one instead. Right. And I'll use one of the alternates for Wasatch Wipeout. So
this is a statistic that I'm not clear on. Has Scott Mannering ever won May Mania?
No.
Is he coming in as a guy that
place.
He's finished well there a number of times that we've seen him. He's always so aggressive, and he's always right down there and mix it at the end. Last year seemed like it could have been his year. He's performed so strong in the Old Iron Class at Blizzard Bash when we saw him out there in the black and brown car, remember?
Yeah.
Is he one of the guys that comes in not just with the skill set, but also having a little bit of that momentum on his side where he's sort of due for a win in this event?
He's one of those quiet drivers. You don't hear from him, and he just does his thing, and he sneaks up on you. A lot like Randy and Troy and a couple of the other guys that are coming in. He's when he hits you.
Right.
Does that make sense? But he's not hitting you every 15 seconds like normal guys. He's on it, and he's very strategic. I've driven against him personally, and it's like, if your head's not on the swivel, he's tagging you.
I know as much of
he is due.
As much of a promoter as you are, and you guys do a great job of marketing out there in the greater Salt Lake area to get the fans aware of it, you're still very much a Derby fan. So that hat being worn now, how tough is it going to be for Sukit and Mikowski to repeat with a win in this year?
Very. I love Randy and Junior's. It's actually surprising that Junior made the last hit last year, because Junior's usually pedal through the floorboard and he's junk in the heat.
Right.
So I was actually very, very proud of him last year. But it's like him and Mac, Stan McDonald came in last year, and he cleaned up on a bunch of shows. But once that bullseye's on you, it's really tough.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Junior making his debut at Blizzard Bash this year as well. So, I mean, we see these guys coming across. When you're talking about teams from further east, you know, our idea of east is Boston and and New York City. Your idea of east is Nebraska. So is it possible at all to get sort of a tip of the hand who might be looking at making the trip out there, even though they didn't make May Mania, they're still looking at coming over the mountains to be part of Wasatch?
I have got the Passmores from Kentucky are coming back.
Awesome.
Iowa, Richard Gomat.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
So that eastern of North Carolina, Matt and Joker's coming.
Figure that.
Eric Snidley
Yeah.
from Nebraska.
Sure.
North Dakota, we got Zach and Brady Larson and Caleb Sorensen are newcomers.
Mm-hmm.
Iowa, Michael Langer and Ben Platt.
Yeah. Those guys are driving together.
Ohio, Club Joy. Is that a C-Lab or Club Joy, I believe it is? Nebraska, Zach Petro. Pennsylvania, I got a Ryan Oldham from Pennsylvania.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And Jared Hinkey from Ohio.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, those are some names that we're familiar with.
They're more eastern.
Big
That's
time.
awesome.
Big time. Pennsylvania names, Ohio names, and Ben Plate is going to Utah.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
You're going to see Ben Plate this weekend in the two-man extreme class. Yep. And last year they won it. They're defending champions, and they had cars. A hugely popular team at the first Kings of Old School team show at Whitney Point. Mm-hmm. They drove the purple cars, and those guys can wheel. They're going to be right at home.
Oh yeah,
no question.
Now, Johnny, I asked Tim Clark this question earlier. When you and Gumby got together and started promoting, did you think Derby would get as big and as popular as it is now?
No, never. You figure when we first started, we did the first $5,000 to win Derby ever, I think, in the country.
Wow.
And we thought that was huge. It'll never get bigger than that. I mean, that's just stupid. And here we are paying out $100,000, $25 to win. It just, and then you look at all the manufacturing and the parts coming into play now, and it just, guys making a living off of doing this stuff now.
Right,
definitely.
I'm almost surprised to hear you say no, you didn't expect it, because with the way that you plan stuff out, and the fact that you've already had a couple different television appearances and your own television shows, so to say, that this was sort of the goal from the get-go, was to make it the biggest thing possible.
It was our goal always to take care of the drivers, and that's what we try to do. I mean, I talked to the back east driver, said, come in, it's $100 entrance fee, and you get pit passes and a shirt, and we try and give you free food, and we try and do this for you and that for you, and hook you up on however we can. And they're like, really? We show up back home, and it's $200 for our entrance fee, and that's it. We get paid for everything else. Like, well, the drivers put on the show, and that's what we want them to do, and that's what they need to be paid for. And as much as we can get that prize money out, our new announcement's going to be here. Ben, I don't know if Ben's there today. The Utah State Fair show, stock class show. We just reduced it. Me and Gumby just thought about it. 24 cars, $1,000 when you pass inspection.
Wow. So you get $1,000 just for passing tech.
Yeah, and it's still going to be like 8 to win, 8-4, 8-4-2.
Wow. Jeez. That's cool.
So, and you're capping it at 24 cars?
Yep, 24 cars. That's all I want.
It's one of those shows that were dictated by time because it's the big state fair and they want the people back in spending money, the fans. So we're down to 3 hours, and we have a hard time running a show in 3 hours. You guys have seen enough of our shows.
Sometimes they're a little longer.
So that's 842, 842, so 14 plus that's 34. That's almost $40,000.
Yeah, that's awesome. That is crazy. Crazy.
Surprised my ass. Actually, $50,000 total payout once we have the filler heats and the bus. I'm going to bring the bus back. So,
on the topic of the filler heats with May Mania, each one of those is scheduled to pay $4,500 of payout each.
Correct.
Are you going to allow the classes to self-police in terms of their own inspections and distribute the money as they choose, like what's been done in the past?
The prize money, we've given them two options. We'll let them decide on it. Everyone's going to get either $100 to show up, and then we'll pay, I believe it was $1,500, and then in half and half and half down from there, and $500 for Mad Dog. Or we'll go, everybody gets $250 to show, and do $1,500 for first and second place, and $500 for Mad Dog. It breaks out. I like the $250. That way, everyone takes home a little bit more because that's what we like to distribute that money as far as we can.
Cool.
As far as the rules this year, the classes that we have, the passenger classes, those are pretty straight up. Those are our stock rules, so we know how to do those. The interesting, and the farm trucks is, stock farm trucks, those are easy to do. The front-wheel drive, however, is probably our newest class for us, not for you guys back there, but mini cars used to be out here. You can't find them anymore. So last year we did, well, you saw it, May Mania.
Yeah.
We thought it was one of the top two heats of the night.
That's great.
Yeah.
And we now have 14 cars for the front-wheel drive class for May.
Fantastic.
And I've already got 14 for May Mania or Wasatch Wipeout signed up. And realistically, it's a one-page set of rules. It's very simple. We don't want it to go crazy. Mm-hmm. And instead of how we do our inspection question process with all the inspectors.
Right.
And I've reversed to this one, and instead of asking the inspectors, we have all the drivers involved in it. So they all get emailed the question, and we talk about it as the drivers because we're developing these rules out here for these guys. Once those rules get established, then we'll be able to bring it back into our regular way of doing rule questions.
Cool.
The front-wheel drive class and the farm trucks both being contested in team format with 14 cars at 7 teams. You're going to put them all of them on the track at one time?
All at one time.
Cool. That's good.
Well, and then we have the passenger heat. That's kind of a team show.
Yeah, you have one car with 2 people instead of 2 people with 2 cars. Yeah, and it's just as intense.
Yeah, no doubt.
The team format with the compacts was phenomenal last year, and they had like 12 football fields to work with, and there was like 8 cars. Now there's 14, so it'll be a little bit
crazy,
a little bit tighter, but they still have gobs of room inside that arena.
You never don't have enough room in Utah. I haven't seen a small track in Utah yet, so
the real scary part of this is Dalton is supposed to be driving the front wheel drive class with Chad Andrews. Well, Dalton's doing a movie shoot for 2 weeks. And he comes back that Saturday, and we don't know when. So it might be me driving that car. And I'm like not wondering if I really want to do this.
Those cars get pickup speed really quick, so they get to hitting pretty wild.
You've secretly got your fingers crossed that plane doesn't land on time.
Yeah. I might have to throw Josh into it. I don't know.
There you go.
He'll do it. He's used to compacts.
Oh yeah, he'll do it. Now, Johnny, this is the first time we talked to you since you ran in Florida. You were having a really good run down there, and I assume you probably broke a transmission like most other people.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, really disappointing. It was down to me and Steve and I forget the name of the new guy. That was his second race or third race he'd ever run.
Yes, Matt Sauer.
I was just getting ready to turn the corner and just start having fun with Steve, and freaking bell shattered on it, and I was like, damn it.
Yeah. Yeah, that
was a good time.
Yeah, it was. I mean, for the conditions you guys had, it was the feature was a good show. Hopefully next year we get that all taken care of, and all you guys can get back in there, because it was definitely it was interesting. I mean, there were still some good cars and good drivers left. It was going to be a good show at the end.
Yeah, you figure there was a possible 22 that should have been in the main event, and we only had 9.
Yeah,
or 10, something like that.
Yeah, yeah. It was.
I was talking to John Cash, and I guess they're going to change arenas and stuff and change some things up because they had some issues with the fairgrounds. But with that being said, it was a lot of fun, and I think me and Troy actually had the advantage because all these guys were bringing all these big horsepower cars and all these high-end gears and everything, and that was a sand trap.
Yeah.
And me and Troy had stock motors with stock rear ends, and I think we had the advantage because we weren't spinning out digging because we didn't have the power to do it, and we were able to get around a lot easier.
Yeah. Well, that's we touched on too when we were talking as the show was going, and the cars in your class, the team class, were built so hard. The only thing that flexed were the parts that were breaking. You were flexing the trannies and breaking them. You were flexing. Guys were flexing A-frames and breaking them. But the stocker cars, that wasn't happening because everything else was given. So I mean, that track was kind of a recipe for disaster. The way the cars were built. So
it was, and it was huge.
Yeah.
I mean, I told them, I said, if you're going to run it in a 2-on-2 format, they should have dropped some barriers down the middle of that track. They could have had 2 heats going at one time, but also would have sped up the show.
Yep.
And made it real interesting to watch. It would have been a unique feature.
Yeah. But again, I mean, for a second year, it was good. And I mean, I wish the feature would have, you guys would have got to turn it up at the end. But there's always next year.
Well, I do know there's a bunch of guys from Wasatch Wipeout that are registered. They're going to be flying in to check out May Mania, so that's exciting.
Cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
That's good.
And again, we'll have the tickets are on sale now, and I'll be posting on our Facebook page and our website how to get tickets and where all the hotel locations are for anyone who's interested in coming in, or give us a call and we'll chit chat with you. Gumby hates talking, so
yeah, Gumby's pretty shy. Gumby's pretty shy.
That's
He'll
funny.
say the same thing about me too, but that's.
Well, we traded some messages on the schedule of what we're looking at. What are some of the topics that we're going to be getting into when you're on next in a couple weeks?
I think we're going to announce 2 new shows.
Okay.
Cool.
It's going to be we're going to finalize those hopefully this week. Definitely one new show is going to be on board, and the second show back in Ogden is what we're working on right now. We hope to finalize that this week.
Cool.
Just to backtrack quick, you guys you still have a show this year at the Golden Spike Arena in June, correct?
That's the one that we're working on. We haven't announced it yet. That's the one we're going to try and
way to go, Chris.
solidify.
Sorry, I was looking at the schedule. Sorry. We'll save that for next time then.
And it depends how we fare at May Mania, because it's we have those arena issues like we had last time. We might move them all back to Golden Spike, but that's enough for another discussion on another day.
We'll put a pin in that topic too.
And maybe we'll get Gumby on the phone next time too and let him chit chat a little.
There you go.
Like you said, he is to talk. Well, that all sounds good. We'll plan on catching up with you here in a couple of weeks and check in with Mr.
We will be posting, once we do the tickets, we'll post the official team list with everybody on it, so everybody can see and start rooting, and we'll have a little fun with that on Facebook and see if they can start showing their cars, and we'll go from there.
Very cool.
Sure sounds good. I know everybody's looking forward to it.
We are too. We're excited to have you guys back out, and everybody back east going to watch us again, so
looking forward to it.
We'll get some more of you out here. We'll make it a party.
Sounds fun.
It's like a family reunion in Utah, in the shadows of the mountains. Can't argue. We're looking forward to it.
Okay, guys.
We'll see you soon, Johnny. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate the time. We'll talk to you later.
See you later.
There goes Johnny Gullo with Stirrin Dirt. You did notice that, right? I don't know if you noticed the last couple episodes.
Yeah. What's up with that?
I prayed over it.
Awesome.
It worked. I don't know what the difference is. I have no idea.
Hey, the question is,
I was told that we move the receiver closer to the door, whatever it takes.
The question is, we've asked, two fairly big names in the Derby world.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to ask the biggest name.
What?
Sorry, Josh Buell. But
Wow.
when you used to sit in the stands at Seneca County, did you ever think Derby would be here? Not dreamed. Did you ever think?
Did I think that it would make it? When I was in Seneca County, when I was a kid sitting in the grandstands at Seneca County, I didn't know that there was any other derbies besides Seneca County. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It only happened there.
And it's true.
It was completely beyond my comprehension that this was happening anyplace else within half hour to 40 minutes of my house, let alone every other state in the union. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So to say that I think it would ever get to that point, I knew that the American Sports Cavalcade was never coming to Seneca County.
Yeah.
That wasn't going to happen. Fast forward 25 years from there, when we started going out to Blizzard Bash and stuff like that with some of the conversations, I see where there's definitely some potential, but I also think, and we've said it on the show before, I think the Demolition Derby is its own worst enemy. They don't allow anybody to get too far ahead. If somebody strikes on something good, the fans tend to turn on it quickly, and the pitchforks and torches come out, and they go and they do everything they can to run it down. They don't want anybody to get too far ahead, but at the same time, it seems like...
Why is that?
I don't know. It's a bizarre mentality, but it's not... It's not... Demolition Derby is not immune from itself, but neither is our local short track scene. When you think about that, think about where Super Dirt Week was, and then the ownership stuff changed, and everybody didn't like those owners, but then all of a sudden ownership changed, and everybody missed the guy that they used to hate. They never let anything get too far ahead. There was times where the Rite Aid 200 was live on TV, and still everybody there had nothing good to say about it, and now it's gone and everybody misses it. So I still think that potentially can get there, but there's some huge hurdles. If you want to go into this conversation, there's some huge hurdles with Demolition Derby coinciding well with live TV.
Oh yeah,
Huge.
yes.
There's the repair time.
Yeah.
There's the downtime. There's the track time. There's the variability. And if you book out 2 hours, you need to be done in 2 hours. And I don't think anybody likes a producer screaming at them, "Hey, you got to finish welding because your car's got to be on track in a minute and a half."
Yeah. And that's the thing is, like, I've dealt with that
On top of the cost.
Yeah, I've dealt with that with dirt racing every Sunday night at Weed Sport.
That's right. I forgot. Yeah, Weed Sport was on Empire. That's right.
You were on a clock from the time the racing started until the start of that feature. You were on a clock.
The heat started, but those weren't aired. No, but they had to be done that at 9 o'clock that modified feature would be ready, could go off so that the green flag could fly at 9:05 or whatever it was.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, there was some nights,
and you had to be done in an hour.
Yeah,
that feature, if it was 35 laps in a rough track, a lot of caution flags, Church of the Yellow Flag stuff started happening. They were on the two-ways telling you knock it off because we've only got X amount of time to finish this feature.
Yeah, it was, and that's the thing. I mean, we've talked about that. I mean, I think, like you said, to go live TV,
there's an extraordinary cost to it too. Yeah. Extraordinary.
I think we're close because with the pay-per-view stuff and the live streaming, I think we're very close.
Pay-per-view, yes. Live TV, cable, TV.
No, way.
The Demolition Derby is not as big as everybody wants to believe that it is. When we go to Topeka and we sell out an 8,000-seat arena and we see all of our closest friends from coast to coast because we go there and we bump into people from California who we are as familiar with as people that live in Waterloo. Mm-hmm. And we can say that about every state: Ohio, Iowa, Minnesota, Missouri, Kentucky.
Kansas.
There are obviously people that when we send out Christmas cards to these people because they are our friends. Mm-hmm. It's still not enough. As big as Demolition Derby is, there is not. You do not have the NASCAR caliber casual fan base, and there's easy arguments to make on the flip side because a lot of those people have not been exposed to or seen normalized or understand fully what Demolition Derby is. So that market hasn't been nurtured, and that's kind of where we're at right now, is cultivating that with the free streams, with the pay-per-views and the big shows and stuff like that. But there's two big things that are already telling that we won't make it to live TV anytime soon, and potentially even pay-per-view access. We still don't have the interest of major sponsors.
Yeah.
We have interest, but we have nobody that's moved.
Which is sad.
We've got regional Napa with Winter Slam, regional level Napa with, there's 13 locations, something like that. We've had Speedway at times with Blizzard Bash. Demolition Derby cars have appeared on the cover of Speedway magazine, but they didn't stay. We've had some big money come in from casinos with Blizzard Bash. Stirrin Dirt Racing does not rely on sponsors. They don't rely on sponsors. It's the structure of what it is and their ability to put together the shows and the contracts that they have that get them to the point where they can pay off the money that they do. So there's still some major hurdles out there.
Yeah.
It's not going to be anytime soon on prime attention cable TV. You're not going to see it on ESPN. You might catch it on the 11th hour. I think the best odds that anybody has is some sort of taped, produced segment, the way that they do with the World Finals in Charlotte, where you might see some highlights from other action. You might see some heat action or something like that. But even then, you've got some pretty serious costs tied up to it to get the producers there, to get the producers interested, to get MAV TV to buy it, and for sponsors to buy the space on the network in that block of 2 hours. That's probably the best bet in terms of live or mainstream TV. In terms of pay-per-view, I think there's better options there, but there's still an enormous cost that comes with that. Enormous. And I don't think that you can make enough money off the pay-per-view to offset the gamble.
Yeah. So I guess we'll just have to keep live streaming for free.
I'm down.
We'll just keep giving it, and hopefully we can stem the tide. And
you know what I would prefer is if we continue to try and expose more people and do the free stream side of things, because it seems like people enjoy that. I would like to do the free streams and have people just enjoy the shows that they see and stop trying to create fights between factions, because frankly we've been down that road and it doesn't work. If more people are normalized to Demolition Derby, that means that there's more people that will potentially buy it, and if it works symbiotically for everybody, then let's keep coexisting, because as we've already said, Demolition Derby continues to tear itself down and be in its own way.
That's what I was just going to say. That's what you just touched on, was that people are tearing down, but yeah, we got into a serious conversation, man.
I know.
We leave for
usually it's funny that this happened with the cameras on, because usually this happens before, after, or during the ride to the airport and or Bash for Cash.
Yeah.
Very rarely does it happen on the air. Usually we just make Josh Decker jokes about being flipped over, stuck on the wall.
Yeah.
Take it.
Hopefully Ben and Josh found a trailer. They were looking for one of those. Thursday morning, we are out of here.
Yep.
So can't wait.
About it. It's gonna be
we're going pretty light. We don't have to take a bunch of equipment, which is kind of nice. I think it's terrific that you rented us a Corvette for our rental car. I mean, you don't.
If they didn't find it, so here's a fun little nugget to chew on. If they didn't get a trailer and the car isn't going, how are we getting from the airport to the Kansas Expo Center?
The Corvette you rented us that just mentioned.
Yes, that's where I thought perhaps you were going with that. You have, again, either not read, assumed, or ignored the email that I sent
you. Oh, goodness. That's okay. I mean, if you didn't want to get the Vet and you got the Challenger instead, that's cool. I mean, I'm cool with cruising in the Challenger.
You're getting closer. It is a Mopar product.
Really? Where'd you get it?
Yeah, it's a Chrysler 200.
My wife had one of those for service car from whatchamacallit.
Honestly, and all joking aside, because it's only going to be you and me and one or two small bags, I'm getting the smallest rental car possible. I'm getting one of those Priuses. I can
just carry it around on my back for the weekend?
We can park it wherever we need to push it into or flip it over into. It'll be nice and inexpensive, which is always a good thing. I think it's the way to go.
We'll talk after the show.
All right, we're going to get a Corvette.
Sweet. Or a Hummer, whichever. Escalade. Let's cruise it in an Escalade. Just you and I. We'll have the thump. We'll have the bass thumping, playing some Tupac.
I'm shutting you off now. That's it. We're done. Episode 220 again. 17 episodes away from overtaking that number one spot. And
crazy.
Since it's 2 for 1, and at times it's been 4 for 1. So it'd be kind of cool that we're running that down. I'll have to talk to the producer of 31st Lap and make sure I don't do any more. Rig the system. What do you think? We covered it all?
We have covered it. Monday we will be talking about who won Capital City Carnage.
Yep, we're talking about that. And there's plenty of topics more to come,
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure. But that is going to do it for us here at the North Park Building here at Academy Square. Episode number 220 in the books. We'll see everybody again next week.
The Crash Course Live is presented by
Smash It Demolition Derby, who host Bash for Cash, Blizzard Bash, and Capital City Carnage. Online at smashitderby.com. And Stirrin Dirt Racing, hosts of May Mania's team show at the Golden Spike Arena in Ogden, Utah. Online at stirrindirtracing.com.
Reckless Abandon Derby Apparel and Derby Inc. Magazine. This is the Crash Course Demolition Derby podcast, recorded live at the FingerLinks1.com studios in downtown Seneca Falls, New York.